Picture this. You are confidently, clearly, calmly sharing your offer with a prospect, and a prospect who you feel that they will say yes because you know that your offer solves their biggest problem. It meets their needs and their wants. But you hear that dreaded word, no. It's a moment that many female entrepreneurs freeze up. But what if that wasn't the end? What if when the prospect said no, it was just the beginning? See, no can mean many different things. I can remember a time where I shared a VIP day with a prospect who had expressed a lot of interest in having a VIP day. And at the time when they had to make a decision whether they're going to say yes or no, they said no. And so I did something different. I said, thank you. I was detached. I didn't take it personal. And then a few years later, when I had the offer again, I personally reached out to them. They thanked me for reaching out to them and they said yes. And when we met for our VIP day, I asked them, why did you say no before, but yes now? And I learned that it had nothing to do with me. Not only to do with me, it had nothing to do with my offer and how I presented it. It had nothing to do with the investment level. See, no's are not equal. I want you to write this down. First, we need to lay a foundation. No is not personal. It's feedback. And then I want you to understand that there are different types of no. In fact, I'm going to share the 6 different levels of no. And when you know the different levels of no, you'll know how to respond and how to create opportunities from that no so you can grow your sales faster without working harder. If this is something that you want to do, if you want to no longer feel afraid when you hear no, make sure to subscribe to Althea TV, join our community, and hit that notification bell. Let me ask you a question. How did you feel the last time you heard no? Did you take it as a personal attack on yourself? Did you feel discouraged or disappointed? Did you feel doubtful about your offer? Did you question whether or not you should have increased your fee? Did you actually maybe get mad at your coach who told you to raise your fees because now you heard no and you hadn't heard no before? Did you question whether you should have pivoted your business to work with a higher level client, what you desired to do, but now you're hearing no? If you said yes, listen, I get it. I remember when I took no's so personal and I experienced all those doubts, discouragement, disappointment, questioning God, whether I should have pivoted my business from executive coach to business coach, whether I should have raised my fees when he told me to. But here's the thing, no is not always a finite answer. No could mean not right now. But here's the thing, we have to know how to best respond when we hear no so that we can best serve our clients. And so today I'm going to share with you the 6 level of no's. You know, true fashion, I've got the notes, okay? So there's 6 levels of no. And when you hear these no's, the different no's, you'll know how to best respond. So the first no is a hard no. It feels like a rejection, right? It's like, no, right? And really what is happening at this stage, and we're going to use the example as if you were a YouTube manager. So perhaps you're talking to a prospect who's interested in growing their YouTube channel. They're new to having a YouTube channel and they know that they don't want to edit their videos. And so they're looking for someone who will edit their videos. That's what they're really honing on. I need someone to edit my videos. And when you're speaking to them, you understand that video editing is only one component to growing their YouTube channel. You understand that having thumbnails that spark curiosity, having the right titles matter. And so when you are talking about the other things that you do, they are not receptive to them. And they're like, no, I just need someone to do an editor. Listen, I'm not interested. No. What has happened more chances than not is they are not an educated buyer. They're new in the journey. And so in their mind, they just need someone to edit their videos, upload them on YouTube, get the right hashtag so it's SEO, and that's all that they need. They're not an educated buyer. They're not what we know is a hot lead. See, someone who is not an aspiring or new YouTuber understands, who's been further along in the journey, that the importance of thumbnails and the importance of titles, among many other things. And so what do you do when you hear this rejection, which is really them not knowing what they don't know? They don't know, is for you, of course, to be detached, but to give them more information. And this is why having a podcast, having a YouTube channel, creating content, at least 7 hours of content, 11 touch points, is so important to serve prospects who are not qualified yet, so that they can go further along in their journey and they can gain more information. Because they're not going to say, because usually, right, as humans, we don't like to say, like, I don't get what you're saying. They can't pick up what we're laying down. And so the first level of no is what you do is you give them, provide an opportunity for more information. That also could be a book, right? The second no is there's a shift that's happened, right? And they're saying, well, maybe it worked for you, but it won't work for me. Think about this. Have you ever had a conversation with a business coach talking about sales, and they're telling you about knowing how to lead a sales conversation, and all you're saying is, I just need the scripts. I just need the scripts. Or they're talking about the mindset that you have around sales, and you're like, that's not what I need. I just need strategy. I just need strategy. Or there may be, and there's a little bit of, yeah, like I get that's what you need, but that's not what I need. I know what I need, right? Again, this level of no is when this prospect is not qualified yet. They're not an educated buyer. They're moving further along, but they're still saying, like, I get that works for you. It doesn't, that's not what I need. And again, this is where they need more information, and they need to be further along in the journey. This happens for all of us. Again, when we understand sales psychology, which is human psychology, it works for us and it works with us. And we know how to respond, and we know how to respond when we hear different levels of no. Let me know in the chat if you've heard the first or two no's recently in your sales conversation. Well, the third no is now this is when it's a debate, and it's really an internal debate. And they're saying, well, maybe it'll work for me, or maybe it won't. Now it's not whether it will work for you and not for them. Now they're saying, well, maybe, right? Maybe we're going back to the YouTube manager. Maybe you A/B testing thumbnails will work for me. Maybe it won't. And they may use an example of, well, I had a YouTube video that went viral and I didn't even have a thumbnail. So I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. This debating, right? You can always win a debate by not debating. Again, this is where more information is going to best serve them. This is when you realize you are building stronger sales skills and being more confident and not taking those personal, is because you're able to hear the different no's. You're listening to what is being said and also what is not being said. Well, I told you that there's 6 levels. So the first 3, you can understand more information is what they need. And also they need to be further along in their journey. Well, the next 3 things move pretty quickly in terms of them saying yes. And many will say yes in a single sales conversation. Do you see how when you hear no, it's not necessarily the end? It could be the beginning. Do you see how every no is not equal? That no's can mean different things? Listen, this is why it's so important to understand sales psychology and have different and develop your sales skills so that you can grow your sales faster without working harder. And why is that important? Because you're going to build your sales confidence and get stronger sales skills. So you understand that your offer, your product, your service is amazing. And as amazing as it is, if you don't develop your sales confidence, your sales skills, it doesn't matter. You won't be able to change people's life because you won't have sold it to them. You understand the importance of growing your sales skills, and this one is key. This one we love. This is when there's actual agreement. You're talking to a prospect. I was talking to a female entrepreneur the other day, and they were saying, I get it. Like, I get why not focusing on my sales skills has been costing me time, energy, and money. Because I understand I keep on hiding and hesitating and procrastinating from doing my sales activity, but it's ruminating in my head, and then I'm just wasting time. Like, I get why working with someone like you, Althea, would help me, build sales confidence, make more sales. Because when I focused on sales activities, I've made more sales. Now we're in agreement. Now they're in agreement with themselves. Because remember, when clients say yes to your offer, they're first saying yes to themselves. And that's where you want to be. There's no need to convince, push, cajole, pull, chase. Let them say yes to themselves and then say yes to themselves through your offer. And so you want to hear their agreement of where they are and where they can be and how your offer is a solution. Now, this is not about more information. This is about doing things repeatedly, right? Like, they're going to begin in their journey and understand, maybe they're going to take some strategy you share in your free content and it's going to work. And they're going to be like, oh my God, I get what she's saying now. I understand what Althea is saying, that sales is not something you do to someone, it's something you do for someone. Oh my God, I understand what Althea is saying now, that selling is leading. I understand now that, it's about asking powerful questions. Like, I get it now. And as they start to implement what you share, right, your free stuff, it's like, oh my gosh, this is working. Like, if this is what she's giving for free, what is it like to work with her? So you can see how things move very quickly. Number 5, I love this. And I was just thinking about this because I was watching a video from a client who would say, I can do this, right? I can do this. And she said, I can make the calls. I can build the sales confidence. I can raise my fees. Working with Althea, I said I could do this. When you hear a prospect excited to get on the transformation that you provide, this is where you can enroll a 5,000, 7,000, 10,000, 12,000, 25,000, 30,000 and beyond client in a single sales conversation. Because it's even greater than agreement. They are now telling themselves that this is possible. You're not telling them, they are telling themselves. And you can see now how when you hear that in the sales conversation, that you would use different strategies to lead them to make the decision that they already want to make, versus when someone's like, no, not going to work. And you're like, okay, not a problem. Thanks for letting me know. Well, the 6th level, I love this one, is when they are now teaching. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a client come back and tell you that they shared what you taught them to someone else? I mean, I remember a client referring me to another client, and they're like, yeah, I was just talking about the things that you do. And they're like, oh my God, where did you learn all this? And I said, well, my coach, Althea, and you guys need to meet. Now it's not only I can do this, because there's an intellectual I can do it. They have embodied the mind integration. They've become the person. And because they become the person, they're doing the things, and because they're doing the things, they're having it. And so now they are teaching it to others. And that's why, when you get those referrals, like, oh my God, you come highly referred. I was just saying, how did you know all these things? And they said they'd learned it from you. When you understand the different levels of no and how no is not never, it's not personal, it doesn't necessarily mean never. It can create opportunities, and you can see how those opportunities can grow your sales faster without working harder. Listen, make sure to drop in the chat a few things. I like, what do you want to embed in your unconscious and subconscious? No is not personal. It's just feedback. Type it in the chat. Do you want to understand that all no's are not equal? Type in the chat. Do you want to understand why it's best for you to sell to educated buyers, right, who are further along in the journey? Say, like, I'm ready, Althea, to sell to educated buyers who are further along in the journey. Type that in the chat. I want to know where you are and which of the no's have you recently heard. And now that you've heard them, you can see, if you didn't know how to respond, a way in which you can respond with greater confidence, greater clarity, and greater conviction. Now that you're ready to get to an unprecedented level of sales success and sales confidence, I want you to grab my new free training, the 7 biggest sales mistakes that female entrepreneurs make that keep them from 7 figures. In this training, you're going to learn why sales is easy for some and hard for others. You're going to learn how to stop feeling guilty about making a lot of money to do what is easy and effortless and fun for you to do. You're going to learn a 5-day process that will change how you think about sales and how you view yourself. So go ahead. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Go ahead and grab that free training. I can't wait to see you there. And then don't forget to share this video with other female entrepreneurs like us who are serious about growing their sales faster without working harder. I love you so much. Take care. Bye from now. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when we release a new video. Then click the TV to watch the next video. Go to altheamcintyre.com to get your free training on the 7 biggest sales mistakes that keep you from 7 figures.